Welcome to Hometown Happenings. I'm here on the shores of Big Detroit Lake with Marcia Watland, and she is from Becker Soil and Water Conservation District, and we're here to talk about the Shoreline program that she runs.
Yeah, it's Becker Soil and Water. We've got a Shoreline program. It's in its second year, and we're having a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of demand out there. A lot of things to find out what you can do with your shoreline and how we can improve our water quality.
Okay, so Marcia, talk about some of the projects, this is the second year, so talk about some of the projects that you are capable of doing. You've got residential and, larger projects.
Right. We've worked with resorts. We are working with private individuals. We're working on basically all the lakes in Becker County. What we have going on there is we have grants that we have written. We're using those to our best ability, trying to get the word out to the landowners or shoreline owners on what is available. And basically what we're trying to do is a lot of times working with stormwater, restoring the shoreline area with erosion. We've got higher waters. How can we keep the water coming from the cabin areas down and reducing it, filtering it, and that's one of our last efforts as far as improving the quality of the lake.
Okay. All right. So are there certain lakes that you're kind of targeting, or is it any lake owner or any lake property owner or any lake in Becker County that would be eligible for this?
It would be anybody in Becker County. We're actually worked a little bit with Monoman County because one of the lakes that went in there that we're working with is in both. And so when the grant writing was done by our administrator, that was fitted in there.
Okay. So how does that work? How does you said you wrote grants for this program, so what actually is entailed with this program? Does a property owner contact you or a resort owner contact you, and how does that all work?
Yes, the landowner contacts us. I go out and I meet with lake associations, and then with the different types of grants, it's not just one. We have different funds available for different lakes, and we're constantly writing these grants. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of time, and so with that, we take what we have received so far and we try to get it out to the appropriate sites. We do evaluate the sites. Our site evaluation is when I go out there and I say, okay, what are the needs here? What will this benefit? And then prioritizing who should be done with the grant funding.
Okay. So does the grant cover the entire project, or how does that work?
No, it doesn't. What the grant covers is basically your native plant material, your biodegradable material. What you're seeing here is the matting, and we use coconut matting and Curlex matting with biodegradable twine on there, or I should say hemp. And I'm trying to think of any of the other things. We use our stakes. We use core logs, which is a really nice alternative to riprap. And so those are the things that are available, and as far as the funding goes, each grant is treated a little bit different. The landowner is required to participate financially in a certain percentage. Okay.
All right, so it just depends on what type of project.
Yeah, if it's a DNR aquatic one, 75% of the cost is covered, and the landowner picks up 25%. And then the other ones that are available are 50-50, whether it be a watershed or with clean water, and that includes the landowner picking up 50% and the grant 50%.
All right.
Okay.
Marcia Watland with Becker Soil and Water Conservation District talking about the Shoreline program and some of the things that she's been working on. It's a new program, so it's relatively new, and the word is spreading. Obviously, you've got projects. You're quite busy.
Yes, it is. It's unbelievable how busy. I've pushed a lot of sites out to next spring. And we're very fortunate. I can actually do planting this winter instead of during the summertime. So it's nice.
Well, Marcia, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to just have you talk a little bit about the specific project that you're working on.
Okay.
All right, we'll be back with more Hometown Happenings after this. Welcome back to Hometown Happenings, here with Marcia Watland from Becker Soil and Water Conservation District. She is in charge of the Shoreline program. And Marcia, I wanted you to talk about the specific project on Big Detroit Lake. What do we have here? We have a shoreline, and it looks like it's pretty cleared out. Do you actually pull up weeds, or how does that work? And what does this particular owner want?
Okay, working with the landowner, we go through the process of what we should be doing down by the shoreline. And what we end up doing is doing a treatment program step by step. I don't want them pulling up plant material. We treat it with a water-friendly herbicide, and it usually takes 2 treatments. But we were dealing with some canary reed grass here, and so I wanted to get rid of that. That took about 4 treatments by the landowner, and we work with the existing native plant material, but bringing in color, how to keep the weeds down. So we're using a coconut matting. That's 3 to 4 years that we're going to get out of here, and we're using native plants that have a really fabulous root structure that will hold the embankment here, because that's one of the big things. They don't have a lot of ice damage here, but they do have wave erosion. You get a lot of boat activity on this nice big lake.
Okay, so this is part of the project you're doing here, and who do you have? You have some extra help here.
I sure do. They're the Conservation Corps for Minnesota, and we received 11 days where 75% of the cost is covered for the landowner on this, and they are absolutely a phenomenal entity to work with. They're hardworking, they're knowledgeable, and get a lot of sites done.
All right, you even have a high schooler working here too.
Yes, there's an internship over at the high school, which is also wonderful. I think it's just great. And so he will be coming here a couple hours, 3 times a week, and we'll get to use him in all the different things we do over at Soil and Water and NRCS, just what we do in our office.
How do I get signed up for that?
Oh, just call over there at the high school. They'll set you up.
Until winter comes, of course, until it gets really cold. But,
Yeah.
well, you have another project going on here, more up on the land. Well, let's take a quick break, and we'll head up there and talk more about that when we return.
Great.
Welcome back to Hometown Happenings, here with Marcia Watland, Shoreline Program Coordinator for Becker County Soil and Water Conservation District. Now, we've moved upland from the lake. Marcia, tell us a little bit about what's going on here.
Okay, on the site that you see behind me back here, this is basically we're dealing with stormwater. How can we reduce mowing the yard and just getting a good root structure? So it's a day project, what we've been working on here. And what we do is we don't till up the soil. We're putting in a native plant material. We level the area, we put our oats down, we put our coconut matting because of the slope area. As you can see back here, they're on a type of a slope, and we use stakes that they stand on. The root structure that's going into here is going to have some beautiful color. We've got your prairie dropseed with about an 8-foot root structure. We're going to have some of your rudbeckias that are going to have about a 5 to 8 root structure. We're going to have liatris that can get up to 12 feet root structure. So we're trying to put in that beautiful color, given organization. It's plugs. We're not doing it from seed as far as the native plant material. And what we're seeing within a season that we're getting some very nice fill in, and they can make it fun looking by putting in some mulch too over the top of it to make it look more formal.
I just like the fact you don't have to mow.
Oh, it is so nice. Can you imagine being on this slope and saying, okay, let's tie on the lawnmower, and you keep pulling from the top. So yeah, it is. We put stakes in there so we don't slide down the slope, but I've worked with a few of these projects.
So the projects that you're working on right here at this specific location, it's going to take you a day?
Yes, on this, with the way we coordinate it, and I have 6 people working with this with the Conservation Corps. And then if you're working with a landscape designer, contractor, we work with the Shoreline program, the native buffers with them too, and it's a great partnership. We've got a wonderful one over on Maud Lake. There's just some different sites to look at that we've done.
So what's the longest a project has taken so far in these 2 years?
Okay, usually it's if I use a Conservation Corps, about 2 days, but when I'm working with a landowner, it can take a little bit longer. And we've had some really big ones with the landscapers that have worked on that have taken about a week or so. But yeah, it's generally not a long term.
And it's very weather dependent.
Well, kind of. We're here whether rain or shine.
Snow?
Yeah, if it had today, we sure would. Sleet, oh, we would be definitely here. We start bright and early. This crew starts at 7, so I have to meet them right away. And then they have to be back in Fergus Falls about 5:30.
All right. Well, Marcia, Irina's kind of given us the wrap it up here, but I want to thank you for sharing this with us and more about the Shoreline program. And if people want more information, they'd contact you?
Yes, just call 218-846-7360 over at Soil and Water. We've got some great people in the office, Jen and Letitia, and they'll direct you to me or someone that can help you out there. But there's a lot of good information out there for Shoreland.
All right, Marcia Watland and Carol McCarthy for TV3 Hometown Happenings.